Cities do not begin from nothing. They grow on the bones of older towns, which rose on the bones of villages, which cover fire pits and footprints and stories no one remembers. Beneath every streetlight and subway tunnel, the earth holds a memory of someone else's life. Some of those memories are ordinary, potsherds, hearths, walls. Others are not. Sometimes explorers squeeze through a crack in the rock and find entire worlds below. Chambers carved for tens of thousands, roads and plazas hidden under jungle, tunnels lined with offerings meant to guide souls through the underworld. And along drowned coastlines, the outlines of cities that slipped beneath the waves and never returned. Were these places abandoned in panic, buried by catastrophe, or sealed on purpose, hidden from whatever came next? Tonight, we descend through 4 doorways into the past and ask a simple, unsettling question. What else lies under our feet, still waiting to be found? Derinkuyu, Turkey, the city that breathes in central Turkey's Cappadocia. Soft volcanic rock rises like frozen waves, fairy chimneys, cliffs carved into honeycombs. From the surface, it's surreal. Below, it is impossible. A homeowner knocks down a wall in the 1960s and discovers a void. Then a corridor. Then a stairwell spiraling into darkness. What he found, and what archaeologists mapped after him, was Derinkuyu, an underground metropolis dropping roughly 18 stories into the earth. It isn't a cave. It's a city. Vast galleries and passageways, stables, kitchens, wineries, schools, chapels, all cut into bedrock. Massive rolling stone doors, each the size of a millstone, could seal corridors from the inside. And threading through the complex, a lattice of ventilation shafts so cleverly engineered that even in the deepest chambers, the air is fresh. Who built this? And more importantly, why? The simplest answer is survival. Cappadocia sits at a crossroads of empires. When danger came, raiders, armies, slave takers, whole communities could vanish underground in minutes and live there for months. The layout supports that: storage niches, communal rooms, livestock pens, even a vertical well protected far below. But there are stranger details. The lowest levels feel defensive, narrow choke points, hidden turns, doors meant to be rolled shut from within. And the scale suggests more than a one-time refuge. Derinkuyu could shelter 20,000 people with animals. That's not hiding for a night. That's life pushed underground. Legend says the tunnels are older than the peoples who used them, that each new wave only widened and connected what was already there. Maybe, or maybe the act of carving itself, of hollowing a mountain into a habitable machine, was a message to the surface. We can disappear, and when we do, you won't find us. Stand at the stairhead and inhale that cool, steady air. It's the breath of a city that learned to survive without sky. The Amazon earthworks, cities that shouldn't exist for a long time. The story was simple. The Amazon rainforest was too poor in nutrients to support large, complex societies. Scattered villages, yes. Kingdoms, no. Then technology changed the conversation. From small planes and satellites, scientists fired LiDAR, laser pulses that skim the canopy and bounce from the ground, stripping away leaves in the data to reveal what the eye can't see. And there, under the green ocean, something geometric emerged: grids of straight roads, moated enclosures, plazas, earthen causeways stretching for kilometers, and mounds arranged with unmistakable intent. This wasn't random clearing. It was city planning. Networked communities connected by engineered routes. with signs of agriculture, fish weirs, and soil modified into rich terra preta, dark earth seeded with charcoal, bone, and organic matter that lasts. No marble pillars, no towering stone walls. The Amazon builds with earth, wood, and time. When those materials return to the forest, architecture turns into ecology, and the city becomes trees. But the patterns remain, the fingerprints of complexity. The implications are huge. It means that before European contact, parts of the Amazon sustained densely settled landscapes, innovating with their environment rather than overwhelming it. It reframes wilderness as abandoned infrastructure, a living cathedral grown over a forgotten map. Why did it fade? Epidemics brought by outsiders, social collapse, climate shifts, likely a tangle of causes. The forest did what forests do, it healed. And in healing, it covered a civilization so completely that we needed lasers from the sky to see it again. Somewhere, under the hum of insects and the crash of rain, there are roads. They don't care whether we remember who walked them. But once you see those ghost lines, it's hard to pretend the jungle has always been empty. Teotihuacán, Mexico. Mercury rivers to the underworld north of modern Mexico City lies Teotihuacán, a metropolis that dominated its valley 2,000 years ago. Grand avenues, apartment compounds, pyramids rising like mountains of brick and stone. The people who built it spoke languages we still debate. They left no royal names. And they planned with an almost obsessive geometry, avenues aligned with celestial events, sightlines cutting the city into sacred axes. Beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, archaeologists opened a tunnel sealed for centuries. Inside, hundreds of ritual offerings, jade, shells brought from distant coasts, carved figures, even rubber balls that once bounced in ceremonial games. Then came the detail that changed everything. Pools and streaks of liquid mercury glimmering by torchlight, scattered like a fallen river of metal. Mercury is toxic, yes, but it is also symbolic, shimmering, reflective, a fluid mirror. Imagine descending into darkness where lamps throw silver light across the floor, stars inverted at your feet. It doesn't take imagination to hear the intention. This was an underworld, crafted into physical form. A gateway for the dead, a stage for power, a map of a cosmos that ran beneath the visible one. Who controlled that gateway? Teotihuacan's rulers did not carve their names into stone. Their authority was architectural, avenues, pyramids, tunnels, and spectacle. Perhaps the mercury turned the passage into more than a corridor. Perhaps it became the river of myth itself, a way to anchor belief to place. Later, the city declined. Fire scorched elite compounds. Populations shifted. The tunnel was sealed. People lived atop the ruins and worshipped there again. Centuries after the city fell silent, new empires stood in its shadow and gave the pyramids new names. But sealed in the dark, that river waited. Proof that beneath the straight lines and massive plazas, Teotihuacán kept something shimmering and secret, a memory of how the living negotiated with the dead. Wave by wave, shorelines move. Rivers change course, silt builds land, storms take it away. Along India's western coast, sonar and divers have mapped stone alignments, walls, and pavements in shallow waters, patterns that don't look accidental. Near the modern city of Dvarka, tradition holds that an ancient sacred city once stood by the sea. Then the sea took it back. Some underwater surveys have reported block-like structures and streets, the remains of quays or temples. Farther north in the Gulf of Cambodge, early scans sparked headlines about submerged ruins spread across a vast area, finds that remain controversial and debated. Here's what we can say without argument. India's coasts are dynamic. Ports rise and fall. The archaeological record is biased toward what remains on land. When sea levels rose after the last ice age, any settlements built close to ancient shorelines had a simple fate. They drowned. That fact reframes lost city legends. It's not that myth proves a single site. It's that along these coasts, the conditions for loss are perfect. A long human presence near fertile river mouths, regular tectonic activity, and thousands of years of rising seas. Add trade, temples, stone wharves, and you have a recipe for ghost maps just offshore. Divers describe corridors of stone where fish school between blocks, steps softened by coral, the outline of a room caught in a shaft of green light. It's easy to imagine priests standing where now there is water, merchants shouting where now only waves speak. Whether every bold claim holds up or not, the larger truth remains. Civilization loves the edge of water, and water erases. The Indian Ocean keeps its secrets. Sometimes it lets us touch them. Derinkuyu teaches us that people can vanish by design, turn a mountain into a refuge, and leave almost nothing for historians to argue over. The Amazon shows that cities don't have to look like stone to be cities. Their signatures can be written in earth and erased by leaves. Teotihuacán reminds us that power often lives underground, in tunnels where rulers make the invisible visible. And the Indian coastlines whisper a quiet warning. The sea takes back what we build too close. We like to think history is what's in museums and textbooks, a clean line through time. But most of what humans have ever made lies unseen, buried, flooded, sealed, or grown over. The earth is not just a stage. It's an archive that edits constantly, burying chapters it plans to reveal when it's ready. So the next time you walk a city street, remember, another street may run beneath yours, and a footpath under that, and a fire pit under that, and somewhere deeper still, a doorway that opens to a world no one has seen in 1,000 years. Which of these forgotten places would you step into first if you had the chance? The city that breathes, the jungle's hidden grid, the mercury underworld, or the drowned coast? Tell me below. And if this descent stirred something in you, subscribe and come back. We're not done digging.